evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 27, DJI status in the USA, 7/8/2025. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. You guys are packing it in here. Warren is here. Drone Shots, Jody, Michael Wright. See who else we got. Josh is here. Koopy is here. John Flynn, welcome. John, see who else we got. Jim Anderson, welcome. White Point, New England, welcome. Lauren, welcome. See who else is here. Okay, FTFO Media, welcome. Today is a very special day in this household, okay? It was, and if you saw my post out on Bill the Drone Reviewer Facebook group, you know it was my beautiful wife's birthday today. And I got to share this card. Okay, I look 29, I feel 21, I act 14, which makes me 64. Okay. Absolutely loved this card. You know what? If you can't laugh a little bit, you need to laugh a little bit. Okay. It was a great day. A little side note. Okay. Now, as you know, for me, eating is a real challenge because I have to do soft foods. Okay. And Valerie was on a very restrictive diet for about 45 days. So we did something we haven't done in 45 days. We went out to eat. And what she wanted to do, we have a restaurant called Glory Days. Okay, it's a sports bar and grill. Great place. We really like it. But she wanted to know they had a cauliflower crust pizza. She wanted to know how it was, so she put a post out on their Facebook page. Next thing you know, she gets a message from the manager saying, because she's on a restrictive diet and it's her birthday. Next thing you know, she gets a message back from them. You and your husband stop in tonight. We'll take care of your meal for you for free. So not only did they do that, okay, they comped us our meal. They got Valerie a nice little cake with a candle and ice cream on it, a balloon, and a card with her name on it. And all the wait staff signed it for today. You know, this place was just, and I have to say this, they are exceptional. And, you know, we went to them before when it was under different management, and it really was just, food was burned, food was late, but new management came in and that whole place turned around. And in fact, you see a lot of seniors there, like on Fridays and Saturdays, and they have some great home meals there. Like, of course, I had salmon tonight with rice and mashed potatoes. But they have a lot of home cooked meals there besides wings and burgers and things like that. Just a great place. We just really had a good time. And I was so happy. And I have to say this. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for wishing Valerie a happy birthday. If you haven't done so, you either go out, if you're friends with me, make sure you make sure that I put plenty of posts out there. Wish Valerie a happy birthday out there, or go to Bill the Drone Reviewer Facebook group and wish her a happy birthday there. I'm trying to get them to go through the roof this year. I usually go overboard. Okay. And I went out there on my Florida Panthers den. I did the same thing. Okay. And I've gotten a lot of responses there, and it's just been a great day. And I'm just really, 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 really happy for her. Joe America, Joe, happy to see that you're home. I think you're home. If you are, post and let us know. Really happy that you're out of the hospital. I know you've really been through it all. Welcome, Art. Welcome, Richard. Good to see you guys. I know you've really been through it, and I'm really glad to see that you're home. Also want to remember, I think John Olson had posted his wife's having heart surgery, I think, next week. John, if that's the case, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Hope everything turns out well for her. We will be keeping you both in our prayers. But Joe, glad you're home. Really glad to see that. I think I did see a post that you were coming home last night. And if you're on your way, that's great. Really, really happy to hear that. That's awesome. Just really, that's absolutely fantastic news. And as I said, Valerie celebrated the second anniversary of her 32nd birthday today. Okay. And then tonight, just top that off right before Rotor Talk starts. And that's why I was a couple of minutes late. My granddaughter called to wish Grandma a happy birthday and guess what? Our granddaughter's birthday, Ellie, her birthday is tomorrow. And because of just craziness, we won't be able to make it up there this year, which really bums us, but they're going to have a blast. They're going to Dave. Ellie wanted to go to Dave and Buster's. Okay. Enough said. All right. Just seriously, enough said on that. So Ray Kelly, welcome. Glad you're here. But yeah, that's really, oh man, it's like a double-edged sword. Going to Dave and Buster's and not being up there, and it's just just put a knife through my heart right now. I mean, really, seriously, that's just wow. Can't say enough about that. But no, so we got to talk to them. Hopefully, I'm going to post some pictures from Ellie for tomorrow. She's going with. There's some friends that are going to meet her there, so they're really looking forward to that. I'm really excited for her, and it was so nice to hear from her tonight. She was super tired, but she wanted to wish Grandma a happy birthday today, which was really awesome. I mean, it was real close back when she was born in 2019. It was almost, she almost was born on Valerie's birthday, which was incredible. Of course, July birthdays are the best, okay? Because there's Valerie's birthday, which is today, Ellie's, which is tomorrow, yours truly, which is next Wednesday, and then my youngest son, Peter's, is on the 24th. So, plus Valerie's late father had a July birthday as well, too. So, Valerie's brother has a July birthday, and our Valerie's niece has a July birthday as well, too. So, yeah, it's really kind of good here. Okay, all right. Enough for the birthday talk and all the other kind of talk. And I don't know if Ron and I are going to be able to have any sports talk because there's really kind of not a whole lot going on unless you're into Major League Baseball. And I'm not really into Major League Baseball because my teams are nowhere to be found. So, okay. All right. Enough being said. Ron's going to join me here in a little bit. And one update is I have not received a response from Senator Scott's office regarding appearing on Rotor Talk Live. I just want to let you know that. I checked out on X, Twitter today, nothing on that. So, which I didn't expect anything, but the offer still stands. And Senator Scott, if you or any of your staff members are watching our show tonight, you are more than welcome to come on Rotor Talk Live. We're on Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern. Also, for those of you tonight, and I wanted to mention this, if you're watching us on X, on Twitter, on Bill the Drone Reviewer, if you want to be a part of the chat, click on the link, the YouTube link on it's pinned, so you can be a part of this wonderful chat that we have here every Tuesday night. Just want to let you guys know that that's out there. We're not on Bill the Technology Reviewer tonight because I can only get on 3 platforms. Of course, we're always on Bill the Drone Reviewer Legacy or Legacy Group, but I also wanted to get it out on Twitter tonight in case you guys want to be a part of this chat. Jump in, and you're welcome to go. Okay, all right. We do have some things to talk about here tonight. Look forward to having Ron on here in a little bit. Of course, July 8th, near and dear to my heart, 1961. Okay, best day on this planet for me. Okay, bar none. July 8th also happens to be Amazon Prime Day. Okay, yeah, what a great day. And we're going to go ahead and go over some things regarding that. Now, everything that you're going to see tonight, it's out on Bill the Drone Reviewer Facebook group and page. I did get it out to both today. I had some time to do that. DJI's biggest Prime Day sale ever, from 159 drones to 319 power stations, okay? The Neo was $159 today. The Mini 4K, $239, okay? This is some, that was $40 off the Neo, $60 off the Mini 4K. The Air 3 with RCN2 was $934, was $1,099. The Osmo Action 4 was $199, down from $289. The Osmo Mobile 7P was $126, down from $149. The Power 500 was now $319, was $499. The Power 1000, now $417, was $999. Yeah, so there were some great deals out there. I don't know if they're still out there or not. Avail yourselves of that if you can. Yeah, avail yourselves of that if you can. There's just some great deals. Take advantage of them if you can. That's some great deals. and you can see right here, you know, there were some other articles. Oh, Michael, yeah, good question. Marcus is on Drone Nation on Monday night. He's also on Drone Seekers on Sunday as well. Plus, with his time commitments and everything, that's why we'll have him on occasionally. Okay, you know, he opted to do that so he could be able to spend some more time, obviously at home with family, with his wife, and everything like that. Everything's fine with him. There's no problems whatsoever. I just wanted to let you know that. But you know, Marcus is still a great friend. Really enjoy him a lot, and he's more than welcome. Come on anytime he wants. It's just time commitments, okay? And you know, and it's a lot for us to be able to do that and to be able to juggle a full schedule. You know, you go out, you create content during the day, you're on drone shows. It takes a lot to do something like that. But Michael, I'm glad you asked that question. Just want to let you know, everything's absolutely perfect with Marcus. He's doing well as far as I know. And he's more than welcome anytime. You know, anytime we're going to have some big to do, anything, you know, a big release or anything, you know, we'll have him on for sure. But for now, you know, I think he needed that time, needed a break. And that's absolutely fine by me. You know, so, but yeah, I wanted to go ahead and answer your question there, but thank you for answering that. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, as you know, and I went over these Prime Day deals. Okay. 15% off the Air 3 that you saw, $90 on the Mini 4K Fly More combo, which was great. The Neo was $159, which was fantastic. So that's, you know, that's some great news right there. So, okay. One of the things I got to tell you guys, when I talk a lot, my mouth gets really dry because of my new teeth. Okay. So that's why I do take a lot of pauses, just to let you guys know that. Okay. All right. There was an update. DJI released an update to the Fly app. And let's go ahead and take a look at this here. All right. DJI releases new update for its drone flying app. Okay. The DJI Flip users. If you own a Flip, you probably already played around with smart snaps, the palm controlled auto shot modes that help you grab dynamic clips with no flying skills needed. One of the biggest additions in recent Fly app and firmware updates is the dolly zoom feature, cinematic camera trick that warps the background while keeping your subject centered. Okay. Once reserved for big budget films, dolly zoom was added to the Flip in May through a firmware update. The Fly app also gives you smooth access to the effect directly from smart snaps, letting creators grab Hollywood style shots on the go. Okay. Other helpful recent addition is the ability to manually update the home point during a flight when the one tap return to home pop-up appears. This gives DJI drone pilots more control, especially when launching from mobile setups like boats or moving vehicles. It's a small detail, but it makes a big difference in real world use. Okay. Now, I know last night, they talked about it on Drone Nation a little bit about that. And, you know, I'm not real sure. Oren, welcome. Lane, welcome. Thank you guys for stopping by here. Okay. You know, I think there was some type of an issue with the way the gimbal was. I know when they were talking about that last night, I was trying to pay attention. I think it was like the camera was pointed down instead of up or something or other like that. But it does work. Now, you know, one of the things is, you know, before you always do your firmware updates. Okay. That's one of the things that, I mean, I think I've kind of said that since day one. Okay. So, you know, don't pass up on them. It's getting to be pretty special. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, you know, it's kind of a lead in here. Let's see here. What else are we going to talk about? Okay. Well, you know, DJI is not resting on its laurels here. They have come out with a new power station, and it's the DJI Power 2000. They have the Power 500, Power 1000, and it's now the Power 2000. It has a 2048 watt capacity with a continuous 3,000 watts output, enough to power over 99% of common household appliances. This means your refrigerator, Wi-Fi router, coffee machine, or even an electric chainsaw can keep running even during a blackout, okay? And here's the stats on it. Listing some times that it can keep things on. Car refrigerator 38 hours. Car refrigerator, okay. Speaker 128 times. Content creation, home backup battery, do it yourself, okay. It's now available. Now, see, and I don't know because I haven't gone out there, and I don't know if anybody in the chat knows about this. But if you do, if you know how much this is, I think it's around 1,000 from what I see. I'm not 100% sure about that right now. There's somebody that's paragliding outside my window here in our development. That's just absolutely positively bizarre. Okay. That's wow. Okay. And we kind of live sort of near an airfield, but you know, it's very, very interesting here. And I don't know if I think he's not going to land in the development, but it's definitely something that is definitely you want to pay attention to. So as far as that's concerned, but the Power 2000 is available right now. As far as availability to the United States is concerned, I think it is. I don't think that's something that is currently being blocked right now. So we'll kind of go from there. But I think it's around 1,000. I'm not absolutely 100% sure how that works. As far as the pricing structure is concerned, I think it's around. I thought I saw 1,800, but on sale it was close to like $1,100, $1,200. Not sure on that. But I think availability. I think it is available out on Amazon, and I think it's also available on DJI Store if you want to take a look at that. So so that's kind of where we're going to go as far as that's concerned. Now I'm going to get started early here. Ron's going to join me here in just a little bit, but DJI status in the USA. One of the first things, and I know last night you guys spent a considerable amount of time talking about why a U.S. company hasn't started up here in the United States building drones, okay? One of the things, and I dropped this in the chat last night, one of the things, China has some rare earth elements, okay? And I looked this up before we started the show tonight, and I can't even pronounce some of these things, okay? But obviously they engage in commerce, and I think these rare earth elements, I think China's the only place in the world that a lot of these rare earth elements are found. And I think raw materials that are needed for processors like silicone, some other things. And I'm not 100% sure what all is involved in terms of, you know, the elements as far as needed for production and manufacturing is concerned. But I think a large part of what China produces is, you know, a lot of the electronic components, you know, and I know a lot of people talk about labor costs in China versus the United States and things like that. But one of the things that I think is in China's favor with this is they have a lot of these elements in abundance there, not just the rare earth elements, but other things. Okay. I believe aluminum's one of them as well, too. And they do quite well at that. And they have great manufacturing facilities over there. So I think, you know, combining all of that with the minerals and the earth elements that they have over there, you know, making semiconductors and electronic parts and the circuit boards and everything, you know, they have a lot of this. A lot of that is already over there. They don't have to import it. They have it there. Versus in the United States, you know, a lot of companies have to import a lot of these things. So, you know, and if you look at things, and, you know, I'm going to digress here for a little bit, you know, parts of automobiles and trucks, you know, while they may be assembled in the United States, a lot of the parts are probably made overseas. For example, like the radio units for a lot of your vehicles, they're not made in the United States. They're probably made in China, maybe Japan, South Korea, other places, Vietnam. You know, or where a lot of these are made, and then they're assembled here in the United States, which say what you will about that. But what I'm trying to drive at is the point is I think it's very easy for them to build on technology-based things like drones, smartphones, things like that, because they have a lot of these rare earth elements there and a lot of minerals there. And I think it's real. They have really easy. They have easy access to this, and obviously they don't have to go import these things, which I think is great. I think it's great for them. But conversely, why aren't we into this? And I think a lot of it is a lot of these things we have to import. Okay, some of these rare earth elements. So they look at the cost of importing versus buying these components, and more often than not, they opt to buy the components because they don't have to set up a manufacturing facility to do that. The components are already there. Okay, so this is just my 2 cents worth about that, and I think it's an important part of why we don't have drone manufacturing facilities here in the United States. I'm just that's just kind of my 2 cents worth on all that. So. I don't know, John. That's that's a real sticking point with as far as the Uyghurs are concerned. I don't know. I have no idea about their situation over there as far as that's concerned. But you did bring up a good point regarding that. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. But I'm just kind of prefacing all this with the whole fact that we don't see drone manufacturing facilities here in the United States. A lot of it, this is part of what plays into this. Okay, and also economies of scale. Yeah, I don't know. I did get Ron the link. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and send Ron another link out there. I thought he had it. Let's go ahead and bear with me here for a second. Let me go ahead and do that. Ron's going to reboot his computer. Oh, here he is. Hey, Ron.
Hello, Bill. I already rebooted the computer. I thought I had a problem on my end. I didn't see the link. And well, actually, I was trying to log into the old link.
What's that?
I got bad audio.
No. We can hear you.
Well, I'm hearing a second. I'm hearing a second screen. There you go. I had the thing up. I had to get rid of the other thing. Yeah. So I thought I had an issue at my end, but I was trying to use last week's link. I didn't get a link for this week.
So I am sorry about that. I think I just dropped that. Did you click on the link I just sent you?
I did. As soon as you dropped
All right.
that
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. I thought
sorry
it was
about that.
it.
Well, one of the things that I've been talking about right before you joined was these earth elements, rare earth elements, and minerals that are only found over in China. And I was kind of leading in as far as why China has some great production facilities over there is because they have access to them. They don't have to purchase them from outside. They're there versus here, us in the United States, we have to purchase them. And more often than not, instead of just purchasing the rare earth elements, they'll purchase components already assembled. Okay. Which makes a whole lot of sense as far as economics is concerned, because they don't have to build a production facility here to process these earth elements and so forth, which makes a whole lot of sense. All right.
No,
so
right,
I think that's part of a reason why we don't have drone manufacturers here in the United States. There's not a lot of, as far as the electronics are concerned, we don't see a lot of that here in the United States. Okay. Like for example, the other thing that I brought up too, was like your radio and units in cars. Okay. Almost all of them are made overseas. very rarely are they made here in the United States, and it's mostly, and again, it's because of these elements and what's available. And they come from places like Japan, China, South Korea, Vietnam. I mean, and where it doesn't cost them a lot to build these things over there.
Yeah, Bill, even back in the heyday of the 70s, 60s, 70s, early 80s, when we were manufacturing a lot of electronics in the country, still a lot of the components, like you said, rare earth minerals and things like that, still had to come from other countries. So even though they were made in America back in the golden era or whatever, it still wasn't all U.S. parts.
Right.
Since assembled here. I mean, with a lot of parts like you described, sourced from other parts of the world. So, I mean, for those truly making an all-American drone with no non-American parts in, it's almost a pipe dream, right, Bill?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah. You're really going way, way, way out there. Okay, because for example, I tell people that my Tundra was built in San Antonio. Okay. But then they measure the amount of parts that come out of foreign countries to determine whether or not, I mean, there's a formula that they have that can tell you, how much of your vehicle was sourced in the United States, the parts that were made in the United States, kind of a thing. And it has to be at a certain percentage as far as the government is concerned and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's where I was going with that. And I just wanted to kind of level set that right now. What did I want to see? Okay. The other article that I wanted to get up here is, I'm still talking about buyers still waiting, DJI drones facing ongoing U.S. customs snag. Okay. Since October 2024, the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act is what it's called. The act enables CBP to pursue goods wholly or in part from China's Zhejiang region involve forced labor, barring them unless proven otherwise. DJI firmly disputes any forced labor ties, insisting production is based in Shenzhen or Malaysia, never Zhejiang, and expanding and emphasizing its absence from the UFLPA entity list. Okay. Impact on availability is stark. DJI's U.S. online store lists all models as sold out, and retailers like Best Buy, Amazon, B&H Photo, and Adorama report critically low inventory. A range of models remain affected, from the Mini 4 Pro, the Air 3S, the Mavic 3, and the Inspire 3. So much so, the new flagship Mavic 4 Pro never officially launched in America due to customs uncertainty. Drone pilots confirm the issues spans from customs office in Kentucky to inconsistent enforcement across parts. When smaller shipments sometimes slip through, larger consignments are routinely snagged. U.S. Customs crisis, not a ban, but a policy tangle, and it talks more about that here, and I'll let you guys all read this at your leisure. But it says, DJI is aware of the challenges our customers have been facing in obtaining some of our products and services in the U.S. market. We remain firmly committed to our U.S. customers and are actively exploring all avenues of engagement with the U.S. government to demonstrate our compliance with the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. The available evidence clearly supports DJI's compliance, and we believe that if judged on its merits, this matter should be resolved promptly. Okay. All right. Well, and that's good, Josh. And I did see that, Amazon did have, and that's a good point that Josh brings up.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but Josh, almost all those items are old enough that they were already in warehouses in the U.S. So
right.
That's why they're not under any shipping thing. Their models like the Neo and stuff, they're over here. Bill, back to the statement you just read. Of course, DJI denies any of this being manufactured by the Uyghurs, forced labor. But our Congress, who sent this document out to the U.S. Customs about these Uyghurs, but have they shown us any proof at all that the information about the Uyghurs, what's their proof? What's the Congress's proof that this happened? Nothing that anybody's seen, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's the whole thing about, we've been asking, and I went out there and I've not gotten a response from Senator Scott's office to provide proof about the security breaches and violations. Okay. Not still crickets on that, and crickets on this as well, too. Yeah. Nobody has shown us exactly what they were talking about here as far as the manufacturing facilities are concerned.
Right. And it's hard to believe all the electronics that come out of China. The only electronics I know are being blocked by the customs are DJI drones. So you mean no other electronic product made over there has been made by the Uyghurs? They somehow they know that DJI drones are the only product in China that's made by the Uyghurs.
Yeah, because for example, the Power 2000 that just came out. You can go on their website and get it right now.
If you'd ordered it last Tuesday when it came out, you could probably almost have it by now. How do they know the Uyghurs didn't build that?
Yeah.
And here's another one, Bill. So I got an email today from DJI. They had their summer sale, right? That sounds good, right, Bill? But I go down the list. There's not one drone in the summer sale. It's all power stations and gimbals. How does the Congress know that gimbals and power stations that aren't made by the Uyghurs?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And nobody has, we're hearing crickets from them on this. All right. We keep asking these questions and nobody provides us any answers. Okay.
Right.
Meanwhile, this has cost people, especially those of us who are trying to purchase drones to help run a business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's costing people time and money, and they're losing sales from their businesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this doesn't sound necessarily like a DJI ban. It sounds like a DJI drone ban.
Yeah.
If DJI made vacuum cleaners or fans or whatever, it sounds like that's okay. Just don't make any drones.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you can probably buy cameras out there. I haven't double checked on that, but I think you can. Right.
I mean, for a while, the popular cameras, the Action 5 Pro and the Pocket 3 were not available to purchase. Or they were out of stock, like all the drones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you can purchase the Action 4 is out there, and some of the other ones, the Pocket 2 is still out there. There's some other, plus, the gimbals, which I saw, and I saw that same ad too, to be able to get those. Okay. This isn't making any sense. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just not.
And the Amazon sale that is a terrific sale that Josh brought up, but it's on things like the Mini 4K, the Neo, things that were already in warehouses. And Bill, on Amazon, this is not being sold and shipped by Amazon or even DJI. These are coming from third-party vendors.
Yeah.
Who somehow have warehouses full of these things. But I know this may be a story, but real quick, how about $159 for the Neo, like $239 for the Mini K4? Some of these prices are the best we've ever seen. The Air 3, not the S, the regular Air 3, like $939. I mean, and the Flymore combos, like the Neo Flymore combo is $229. That's 3 batteries in it, whatever in a case. I mean, these are some of the best prices we've ever seen, Bill.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
But what's seriously missing? The flip. The flip is all you can buy that all day, all night on Amazon. The flip's not discounted 1 penny.
Yeah, and I don't understand that, Ron. As much as
and we all know the flip's a slow seller.
Yeah, and it has been since day one. I mean, that's just one of these things here. Now, one of the other things that I did want to go over here, because we haven't heard anything about the Mini 5 Pro, but there was an article here on Drone XL that I wanted to go over about the Osmo 360 and Mic 3. Okay.
Yes.
And it was posted by Jasper Owens on the 5th, which was just a couple days ago. And there's the camera and there's the Mic 3 right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking about Osmo 360 key features and specifications, 1-inch 360 imaging, stunning low light performance. And it lists all the specs right here. And again, this is out on
basically, Bill, these specs outspec the Insta360 X5. So if these specs are correct, it's going to step ahead of the X5's the top 360 camera.
It does. And if you look at all the accessories right here, it looks like an Action 4, Action 5 accessory setup. Mm-hmm. Is what you see right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, the whole thing about, the Mic 3, and there's some more of that. Mic 3 will be added to the Osmo 360 launch.
Looks like it's smaller in size. It looks more like the Mic Mini than it does the Mic 2.
Yes. Now, Osmo Nano postponed. New Osmo 360 plus Mic 3 release date announced July 29th. Okay. So there's a date there.
The Mini 5 Pro is still rumored for the 7th. So 1 week, we got back-to-back weeks there, Bill.
Right. Now, the question remains, okay, first of all, for the Mic 3 and for the Osmo 360, is that something we're going to see here in the United States? I mean, that's an unknown question.
Well, and again, it then threw us off that the Power 2000 is, so that now you don't know. Is it gonna? It's not a drone. Is it going to be available?
Exactly. Okay, you won't know until July 29th. When it gets.
Yeah, and you won't know until the 29th, and you won't actually know until the next week or so if it actually makes it through customs to your house.
Right. If it could be out there and showing available and shipping, and you go out there and order it. And next thing you know, oops, it's stuck in customs.
I'm waiting for the first person in the U.S., not a reviewer, to receive the Power 2000 that actually got through customs to their house.
Yes. I'm anxious to see that as well too. And then right on the heels of that is going to be the Mini 5 Pro. All right, and I heard Marcus said he's going to be driving up to Canada to get his from Lauren. But you can almost there's nothing certain in life, okay? But one thing I can say I'm about 99.9% sure that will not be for sale here in the United States. I could be entirely wrong about that, Ron.
Okay? And you hope you're wrong, right?
I hope I'm wrong, okay? Because I know this, all right? As popular as the Mavic series of drones are, the Mini series are twice as popular.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And they will sell like nobody's business here in the United States.
That would outsell the Mavic 4 Pro 10 to 1.
Oh yeah. Take care, Josh. Good to see you tonight.
Yeah, good night, Josh.
It would not surprise me for DJI to do a backflip and then have the Mini 5 Pro available for us.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've heard rumors that something's going to happen in August. People have been saying that Mavic 4 Pro will be available in August. People have been saying the RC2 Pro will be available in August. And I don't know where people get this from, that something's going to happen in August. I sure hope they're right, Bill.
Yeah, and Koopy, yeah, and you're probably right, John. I mean, it has been getting worse. It's not getting better. We're not seeing any encouraging signs from this. And, we get stonewalled as far as answers are concerned. And I think
it wouldn't shock me if we don't get the 360 camera, the mic, or the Mini 5 Pro at the end of July, beginning. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if none of that stuff shows up on DJI.
I agree, Ron. I agree with you. But
if another power station or gimbal come out, we'll be able to get that.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense because the whole thing about security concerns, and then the Forced Labor Prevention Act for the Uyghurs and all this. Okay, those are apples and oranges. They don't have anything to do with each other. Okay, they really don't. These are just reasons to prevent products from coming into the United States. Okay.
Right.
And, we've gone round the block about the drone issue and, the possibilities of Walmart and Amazon and other ones coming in, and a U.S. drone maker like Skydio, Adam Bry, and all that. We've gone round and round about that. But with this Uyghur forced labor prevention deal here, okay, there is nothing. Okay, there's no, what's going to hurt? What will hurt us by having an Action 5 or an Osmo 360 or a Mic 3? Okay, what are we gonna listen to? Okay, what are we gonna take pictures of? I mean, we're not talking about an aerial platform. All right, I'm gonna be in my truck filming a trip down to Sarasota or Bradenton. I mean, come on, seriously here. Well, or you're gonna go out, Ron, and film Lucy, or go down to the boardwalk and film people walking down the boardwalk. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. What's in the summertime, there's thousands and thousands of teenagers and people walking around shooting cell phone video nonstop, Bill.
Yeah.
Bradenton and then Sarasota, Florida. There's a million tourists walking around with cell phones, cameras, video recorders. So much stuff's being shot now already. Why would they have to wait for drone video?
Yeah. It's ludicrous, the reasons that they're giving us, for the security concerns. And it's incredible that they don't really have, they say, the Forced Labor Prevention Act, when they know we're trying, they know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And don't tell me that our alphabets like the CIA and NSA don't know where DJI's production facilities are. They know they're in Shenzhen and Malaysia. Okay.
And believe me, if you could talk to the head of the Chinese spy thing, he knows where all the infrastructure is already over here.
Yeah, and John, you're probably right. Okay, it's all about U.S. government issues with DJI more than we'll never know. You're probably right on that. I mean, it's just, it gets to the point, it just gets laughable. It really does, because, it's a he said, she said kind of stuff. And just, in the meantime, I'm going to say it like it is. Okay. People depend on these products, number one, to save lives. Okay. First responders do. And, case in point, I mean, we just had an incredible tragedy, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in Texas with the flood. It was just, the news is just awful, awful, awful coming out of there. Okay. But, I've read so many stories of heroic stories about people being rescued and things, where drones can come in and make a difference. All right. In a situation like that. All right. You're cutting off, first responders from having accesses to life-saving tools. All right. Number one. Number two, there's over, and I think I saw an estimate of at least 150,000 or more people that have Part 107 licenses. It's probably even higher than that here in the United States. Okay. And I think there's over 100,000 businesses that use drones primarily as their means of earning income. Okay. So you're going to shut down all these businesses. You're going to cripple first responders from being able to save lives. Okay. For what? Okay. You've given us no proof. You've shown us no security concerns. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt that they make their drones in Shenzhen and Malaysia, where there's no Uyghurs there. I mean, it's just, we keep getting fed a load of horse manure every time.
And the horse manure is so bad, they're afraid to even do that inspection of the drone, because they're going to look dumb when they can't find anything in it. Right, Bill?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Patriot first. It would be wonderful to know what that is. Okay.
Yeah. Just show me. Just show me the reason. Government has a reason. Well, show me the reason.
Yeah. It's like the old thing from the Tom Cruise movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me the money. Okay. Show me the security concern. Okay. Show me where, DJI is using forced labor to build their products. Okay. Show me these things. All right. It's just, why aren't we targeting Apple? Okay. Because, iPhones are made over in China.
Probably one of the best recording devices in the world is made in China. A device that's in billions of people's hands.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Ham radios. Okay. In the inexpensive kind that you can buy on Amazon for $35. Okay.
Right.
They come from China. Okay.
Yeah.
Some higher end ham radios come from China. What is it? These are communication devices you can talk with around the world with ham radio. Okay.
Right. And see, Patriot first. And Bill and I are mostly talking about hobbyists here. Well, I understand people that have sensitive government jobs shouldn't be flying Chinese drones. Okay. Maybe the CIA, FBI, maybe they shouldn't be flying Chinese drones. But hobbyists flying sub-$1,000 mini drones around, we're not in the same situation as somebody with a sensitive government job flying a Chinese drone.
Yeah. Okay. Ron flying up and down the boardwalk, or filming a sunset, out on the beach, or Marcus going to the Snake River Canyon, or going out to the park that he goes to, or me, filming the clubhouse and seeing how many people are at the pool for the day, or the traffic out on 301 by where I live. Okay. There's nothing there.
And the safety people always put their head in the sand. We all know that for a couple of years now. You could turn off your DJI drone from sending any data. You could turn off everything that won't connect to the internet, won't connect to anything or whatever. So you can go total dark mode now with the DJI drone, and it's been that way for years. So, I mean, you can't send any data if you put it in the low data mode, I think it's called. So we already know DJI drones can be totally disconnected from everything. So that mode's already been there for years. So anybody that has safety concerns, first thing you do, Billy Kyle showed it one time. He got a new DJI drone. He created an account, activated the drone, then totally turned it off to ever get on the internet again.
Yeah. 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 And one of the other things today that I saw too, and I want to throw this in the mix. I'm trying to think of the senator's name from the state of Pennsylvania, Fedterman. Okay. I should know him. He's from the
He's from
Pittsburgh
your
area.
area, right? Yeah.
Right. He's from the Pittsburgh. In fact, he was over in Braddock, which was right across the river from where I grew up. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He's proposing a bill to block China from buying, land here in the United States, especially farms. Okay. Because they've been buying it up. And this is a good bill. I'm 100% in favor of that, Ron. Okay. I don't want them buying up land here in the United States. They don't, we don't need to have foreign companies coming in here and buying up our land, especially farmland here in the United States. That's ridiculous. Okay. Mm-hmm. There should be a bill. There should have been a bill on something like that. That's ridiculous. Okay.
Right.
Which is a very valid concern versus these concerns that we have are all smoke and mirrors because we don't see anything of this. Okay. And, and I'll go back and I'll say something like this here. Okay. Everybody knows, okay, beyond the shadow of a doubt. Okay. When JFK was assassinated in 1963, okay, that the Warren Commission's report was totally bogus. They knew,
You mean the lone gunman?
Yeah. Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman. Okay. Everybody knows that is not the case. Okay. And there's thousands of pages out there that have been published out there.
The magic bullet. He shot one bolt that somehow went in and out a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. It took a trajectory like this, stopped, went down, went over, like through Governor Connolly. Okay. Yeah. It went through Kennedy. Then it went through Governor Connolly, and then they found it on a stretcher. And I'm like, okay, seriously here? It would have had to zigzag from Kennedy over to Connolly to hit him in his leg. Come on. Seriously here. Don't make us out to be, naive. Okay.
And they're using the same bull crap on us about these drones, feeding us stuff that if the Warren Commission had to research these DJI drones, they'd have the same crazy answers.
Yeah, and you saw who was on. Okay, what I thought was a total joke was, who was on the Warren Commission. But one of the people, a lot of people don't remember who was on the Warren Commission. Gerald Ford, the president of the United States. Yeah, he was a congressman from Michigan at the time. Okay. Yeah. He was on. It was a total setup, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, remember that the senator from PA had died a few years ago. He was the last living member of the Warren Commission. What was his name, Bill? He was a very famous senator.
Oh, Arnold Spectre.
Arnold Spectre was the last living person on that commission. He said the truth probably died with Spectre.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that. He
probably really knew what happened, but he couldn't say.
I agree 100% here. Exactly, Patriot First. Exactly. Yeah, okay. This is all political. It's all, and something. Nobody is telling us the truth about this.
Well, right? but it's generated by these what do you call these big groups that tell the senators and congressmen what to do?
Not the PACs, but lobbies.
It's a lobby. It's the lobbyists more. They're feeding all these people like Stefan all this information and whatever, this false rhetoric. They come with a suitcase full of money too, along with their.
Yeah. They just throw stupid money at them and all this stuff, oh yeah, we'll ignore, don't worry about it. We'll get it taken care of kind of thing. And the whole way that this bill had been set up, the way it is right now, if nobody, goes and inspects DJI, at the end of the year, it automatically becomes law and DJI drones are banned. Okay.
And they're kind of already banned because of the Uyghur thing. But at that point, they won't get FCC approval anymore, Bill. So that means even if we did smuggle one in from outside the country, it would be illegal to fly it because it would never got the FCC approval.
Yeah.
That's what changes, now. Like the Mini 5 Pro has already got FCC approval. So even if you brought one in from South Korea, it would still be legal to fly it. But that won't be the case after December 23rd.
Exactly here.
No new drones will get the approval. But
and the same with like the Nano. If there's communications in the Nano or not the Osmo 360 and the The mic, okay, which there
They
are.
need FCC approval too, yes.
They need FCC approval, and they probably already have them. So, what's the deal here? Okay, because, and this is you brought up a really good point, Ron. Okay, if this has been such a security concern, why is the FCC still giving these approvals out to the Mini 5 Pro?
And they seem to hand them out like candy, Bill.
Yeah, it's like going to the candy store. When you used to be able to buy penny bubble gum, and throwing down $1 and getting 100 pieces of bubble gum. Okay.
Yeah, you walk out with all the approvals you want. Yeah.
Yeah, you walk out with everything you want here. All right. And it's like, what's the deal? Okay. They're getting all these approved, but yet we can't. You say there's a security concern. Why are you approving these if there's a security concern?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can. That's the.
We said this before, Bill. We know all these people like Stefan, Rick Scott. None of them have a stack of emails in their office from their constituents wanting them to ban drones. This doesn't come from the people that voted those representatives in office. This comes from somebody else. And I believe, Bill, you should listen to your people that vote you in, not a bunch of lobbyists. What do you think, Bill?
I agree 100%. But unfortunately, we as constituents, okay, the lobbyists are the one that fund the PACs that help get these senators elected. Okay, this is what it's all. And they tried again. I was just recently reading about this. Okay, for term limits. Okay, because some of these members of Congress. Okay, my gosh, it's like they can barely
lifers. Yeah,
they can barely function and get up in the morning. Okay. And they've been there for like 30 or 40 years. All right. Put somebody new in. Okay. Give them term limits. Okay. Well, the whole thing goes back. Okay. The whole idea of term limits goes back to when FDR got elected 4 times. Okay. And then they passed, I don't know what amendment it was, that a president can only serve 2 terms because of what FDR did. Okay. So fine. Let's make this universal. Let's make it so congressmen can only serve 2 terms. Or senators
I think back to that era, nobody ever believed somebody would want to serve in Congress or the Senate until they're way in their 80s. Nobody ever thought that would happen.
Yeah. John, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
It's not the FCC's concern to worry about, what's going on in other countries. You're right.
Yeah. So we really don't know. We're sitting here, we're spitballing, all of us, on our drone shows. We're just trying to come.
We don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on. Okay. Drone Nation here, Coast to Coast Drones, other shows, all you guys, Johnny Drone Flyer, Ray, all of us. Okay. We're just spitballing. We don't know.
Until you can get Rick Scott on as a guest, we won't know, right?
Yeah. It's just
could you see Rick Scott coming on the show and he have to dodge all these questions?
Well, you know what he can say. He said, and for the interest of national security, I can't comment on that.
Yeah, he'd be dodging and weaving better than Muhammad Ali, right?
Oh yeah, it would be, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rope-a-dope, like big time rope-a-dope. Okay. Or we could have a staffer on from his office and all they're saying, Senator Scott empathizes with the Americans out there. However, drones are a security concern. Why are they a security concern? That's national security. We can't talk about it.
She would just be reading from the script. She'd only have 5 things she could say.
Yeah. It's a national security concern, and we haven't been read in by the NSA and CIA. Sorry, we can't divulge that information to Americans. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of this has to do with money. Okay. A lot of it has to do with money. And, we throw things around and we're talking about stuff and we don't know. We don't know if it's Amazon and Walmart. We don't know if it's wanting to build drone manufacturers facilities here in the United States. We don't know. And I know a couple guys have brought up things, if there's a conflict, there is a conflict, but if it's a serious thing between DJI and the United States government or what's going on, we don't know. Nobody really knows.
And Bill, I saw something in the chat about we don't want to have all the eggs in one basket of Chinese drones. Well, guess what, Bill? If we didn't want to have all Chinese drones in this country, it's a simple solution. Build American drones that are better and priced better and the Chinese drones won't dominate anymore, right, Bill? It's simple economics. What do you call it? Fair market. If we made a better product here, competitively priced, the Chinese wouldn't dominate the market anymore.
You know what? Here's my pen. I'll sign my name on the line and buying an American-made drone right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't hesitate. If
you could end the Chinese domination as soon as you could build those products as the superior products.
I agree. You know,
Bill, I don't shop by country of origin when I buy a product. I try to buy the best product. I don't even need to see where it's made. Is that the way you shop, Bill?
Exactly. You know, I don't go out there, you know, as far as like consumer goods are concerned. I'm not talking about automobiles, but you know, I don't go out there and look, okay, well, it's made in Vietnam. Can't buy that. Sorry. Oh, it's made in South Korea. Nah, I want to stay away from them. No, sorry. It's made in Japan. They were in World War II. I don't have anything to do with them. Oh, it's made in Germany. They were in World War II. No, you know what? I don't do that. Okay. I go out there. I want to buy what's best for my household. Okay. What's going to give us the most bang for our buck? Okay. Whether it's a washer, dryer, stove, refrigerator, that kind of thing. You know, I want to make sure we're getting our money's worth. I want to make sure we're getting some quality there.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, when you go to buy coffee or whatever, you know, maybe you're not a big fan of Colombia, but you know they make the best coffee. So you're buying Colombian coffee not because you like the country, but because they produce great coffee, right?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So, you know, it's just the arguments that are being pressed about this. You know, nobody has provided any evidence whatsoever on that. I think that's one of the big takeaways I think everybody can have on this. And, you know, and if anybody out there says, if a drone reviewer out there says they know what's going on, they're not telling you the truth. They don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on right now. Nobody. Okay. And we have no idea with this crystal ball what we're going to see here in a couple of weeks on the 29th. You know, are we going to get the Mic 3? Or are we going to get the Osmo 360? And then early in August, or we can get the Mini 5 Pro? We don't know. We have no idea. Okay. And anybody says that we're getting them.
Power 2000 is going to get through customs to customers.
Yeah, we don't even know that yet. Okay. So, you know,
but we do know one thing. You can go over to Amazon and order these drones that are already in the country and get great deals on them. In fact, Bill, once you advise somebody, if you need a DJI drone, go over there and get the Nano, the Mini 4K, all those drones on sale. Get them now, right? Because this may be this looks like a blowout sale. It looks like
get them now, and then
clearing inventory.
You know, my thing is this, and this is something, and I know we've talked about it before here on Rotor Talk, and I kind of want to probably kind of wrap up with this. Go out there now if you can. Buy extra batteries, buy extra propellers, okay? Buy accessories if you're looking for DJI, okay, and not aftermarket. Go out there and do that right now, and especially the batteries. And that's one area I know.
You're not a big believer in third-party batteries, are you?
I'm not a believer in third-party batteries because, you know, they're not made to DJI specifications, okay? That's one thing that I will do all day long. As far as OEM is concerned, I'll buy OEM batteries and I'll buy OEM props as well too. So I know a lot of people use master screw props, but they have been known to cause some issues with drones. Okay,
yeah, and they're actually more expensive than the OEM ones. But on props, I would recommend third-party batteries. But if you are going to get props, the only ones I would recommend besides DJI would be the master head screws.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard issues, but more often than not, most people have been satisfied with them, Bill.
Yeah.
If you can't get the OEM ones. But I definitely wouldn't buy any no-name props on Amazon.
Yeah. I would do that right now. If you're going to do anything right now, you know, if you want to get a Mini 4 Pro.
Or pick up a backup drone like a Mini 4 Pro for cheap.
To have that on hand, okay, I would do that all day long, okay? If you need to do that, or buy batteries or buy props right now, that's what I would do. That's projecting here, and I hate to say that, you know, if the ban becomes in effect, but they don't ban drones that we currently own, okay, you're going to need to have batteries, you're going to need to have propellers, you're going to need to have other accessories. I would go out there and buy those right now.
And none of these bills so far have been any mention of banning our current drones.
Yeah, so you know. That's why I'm saying this right now. We just really don't know. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, exactly. Not worth the risk. They are exactly 100%. Jim, that's a really good question. I think a lot of it depends on the size of the battery.
Yeah, a ballpark used to be 100 charges, but that, like Bill says, that depends on a lot of factors: the size of the battery, the wattage, how it's used. I mean, so many factors go, but a ballpark 100 charges.
Yeah, I would say Ron's right.
For a DJI battery, I'm not talking about everybody in the world. A DJI battery, 100 charges ballpark, but you could be much less if you flew it under adverse conditions.
Well, and it's all in proper care of your batteries too. For example, if you're not going to fly your drone for a couple of weeks, okay, you want to be able to charge them at 60%. And I know some of the chargers that I have will charge to 60%. Okay, some of the ones that I've reviewed, the aftermarket chargers, and those are good because that's what you want to keep it at.
Actually, the newer, that's kind of for maybe older, but the newer batteries, they discharge themselves to the exact charge that they should be at for storage. Like after about a week or so, they'll put themselves in storage charge automatically with smart batteries.
And Matt, props, you're right, and Ron's right too. As far as
I mean, older batteries, Bill, what you're saying is correct.
Right, like the Phantom 4 batteries. Yeah.
That would be something more modern batteries. After a week, they'll slowly discharge themselves to that, that what do you call it, that long-term state. So you're fine. Just don't run the battery down to nothing and then not charge it up for a year.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. And I think it may be prudent to watch some videos on this, but don't let your batteries get like below 10%. Don't let them get below 20%.
And especially at that point, if you do, immediately put them in a charger and get them back up to at least half full.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Immediately get back a charger, let them go all the way back to 100%, and even if you're not going to use them for a while, they'll put themselves in a storage state.
Exactly.
But don't let an almost dead battery just sit in the case for long term.
Oh, that's another good point too, Matt.
Oh yeah.
When you come in, let it get to what I always do is I sit them on my desk and I let it get to room temperature before I charge them, because obviously, here where I live in Florida, okay, those things are going to be hot to the touch, especially with the temperatures out here. So
I almost never fly at my house so that by the time I get home from my flight, because I go someplace, the batteries have cooled down.
Yeah, and what I do
in the summertime, I don't even put the batteries right back in the case. When I'm done a flight in the summertime, like it was 90, I take the battery out of the drone and let it kind of just sit top of the case and maybe cool down for 5 minutes before I pack up and go home.
Yeah,
then the drone cool down.
Well, what I do is, I have like a 3-minute drive, but I leave my battery on the car seat in the car.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
I don't even put it back in.
Yeah, don't stick a warm battery back, especially a hard case.
And then one of the other things that I do when I get home is I have a couple of small fans, desk fans, and I turn them on the batteries here, and I wait until I feel they're at room temperature before I'll charge them up. That's one of the things that I can do. We're just passing on some things for you guys because, if it gets to the point next year that, we have what we have and we can't buy new, you're going to have to get as much mileage as you can out of your batteries. You're going to have to be really careful with battery use, care, and maintenance, even more than props. Okay.
Yeah. Randy's comment here about don't fly in temperatures like 90, 95 above degrees. That is good advice. But you know what? Even on a hot day like today, Randy, we had a hot day in our part of the country, Bill. When the battery's in the drone and the drone's flying along at 20 miles per hour up in the air, it actually keeps that battery cooler than it would be on the ground. That helps cool the whole battery. Oh yeah. When you're flying along at a good clip or whatever, up in the air, so that will keep the battery cooler than you are staying on the ground.
That's a good point. Any final thoughts here, Ron?
No, just another, I'm sorry, folks, just another week of gloom and doom here in the drone world. And Bill and I are trying to be positive and, upbeat about this, but we need kind of some signs here. We're not really getting them. I mean, the only good sign was the Power 2000 appeared on this. That's one break news, Bill. The Power 2000 appeared on DJI's U.S. website. So that's good news. And that Amazon DJI drone sale is good news for anybody that needs to pick up a couple drones, bargain drones before maybe the ban really comes into place more than just the Uyghur ban. Bill?
Yeah, and thank you, Ron. And, just, listen to what we're saying. A couple of takeaways. One, nobody knows what's going on. So anybody says that they're not telling you the truth, okay? Because nobody knows, all right? Number one. Number two, if this comes to fruition at the end of the year, you're going to need to have batteries and props. But even more importantly, focus on getting some batteries, okay? Buying extra batteries never hurts. It's a great investment for you, especially, not only if you're a hobbyist, but especially if you're using your drone for your business like Ron does, okay? That would be one of the things that I would definitely recommend looking into right now, because I know batteries are available on Amazon and in other places as well, like Adorama and B&H. You can go out there and buy those, okay? So get out there and do that. That's something that I would highly recommend. And just hang on tight, because we're all in this ride together, okay? And, Drone Nation, Rotor Talk, Coast to Coast Drones, Johnny Show, Ray Show, all of us, we're all in this together. This is all of us, okay? And, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here for you guys. We're going to tell you like it is. We're going to give you the truth and just go from there. That's what we know. I wish I could be a purveyor of great and positive and upbeat news, but, the best news I can tell you, okay, was Valerie turned 64 today, okay? And I got her this card.
Birthday, Val.
Yeah, and I look 29, I feel 21, I act 14, which makes me 64.
Did you play the old Beatles song "When I'm 64" today?
I was ready to do that, and I wanted to share with you real quick, Ron. There's a sports bar and grill called Glory Days by us, and they have a cauliflower crust pizza. And she posted out on Facebook and asked them, how is it? She wanted to see some reviews. One of the managers for Glory Days saw that, and Valerie said she was going out to celebrate her birthday and everything, and she's been on a restrictive diet. Wouldn't you know it? She got a reply back from them. Listen to this, okay? Said, please come in and ask for one of the two managers on duty. We will pay for you and your husband's meal for tonight.
Oh, wow.
So we had a free dinner tonight there. And then not only that, they brought her a cake, a candle with ice cream on it, and a balloon and a card signed by all the staff there that day.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That was just really special.
That's great.
If you want to take some, have a positive takeaway, know this. Valerie had a great day today. We made her birthday very happy. The second anniversary of her 32nd birthday. So that's the way we look at those birthdays from now on, Ron. So, all right, guys, as always, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.
Good night, everyone.